Thanks for watching The American Rancher on RFD TV. If you'd like your farming or ranching operation featured on The American Rancher, or if you'd like a product feature, or for information on sponsorship opportunities of The American Rancher, please call Superior Livestock at 1-800-431-4452. You can also email your request to theamericanrancher@superiorlivestock.com. Check your program guide for future shows highlighting the greatest ranches on The American Rancher. You can locate Triple Creek Ranch about 50 miles east of Fort Worth, Texas, in a tiny town called McClendon, Chisholm. Today, the ranch is run and operated by Ty and Cheryl Davenport. We caught up with Ty to find out just how deep his rancher roots grow.
We've been in the cattle business as far back as you can go. That was my third back great-grandfather, and he drove a herd of cattle from Texas, Wise County, over at Decatur, all the way to California, and he got there right when they were having the gold rush. And at the time, cattle were bringing $2 a head here in Texas, and they brought $100 a head there. And he made a fortune, and he came back and bought a ranch there in Wise County. One of my relatives before him was a doctor, and he was one of the first white settlers in Wise County. My father was a veterinarian, and I also became a veterinarian. When I got out of school, we both had a desire to buy a ranch and raise cattle. We'd always had farms around Dallas where we raised cattle, but this was the first time we were able to put a large section of land together where we could do it all in one place. So we leased out the other farms and just basically concentrated here on Triple Creek. The ranch has 3 creeks that go through it, and so that's how it got the name Triple Creek Red Angus. We've been very blessed out here. Every day I get up, and when I get up, I just thank the Lord that I get to play cowboy. I was able to sell my veterinary practice and just play with the cattle.
Christy Davenport, Ty's youngest daughter, who also lives on the property, recalls the days when she too helped work the cattle.
Yeah, I'll get on the four-wheelers and help round up the cattle when I need to. Or look for lost calves or just ride around.
When asked if she handled all the administrative aspects of the ranch, she had this to say.
So I try to. It doesn't always get done, but I do the best I can.
How does so much work just manage to get done? So, just how big is the Triple Creek operation?
Well, we have about 400 head of cattle here, so basically we have about a 400 head. Of that 400 head, we'll raise about 80% to weaning and all that we're selling. So 4H of 32, about 300 head of cattle a year we'll sell. And out of that will be about half bulls and half cows. We raised Red Angus. At one time I had Black Angus, but I liked the red color, so I switched over to the reds. In 1995, we had the national champion Red Angus bull in the United States. So we have a real good herd of cattle, and we really enjoy them. We basically have all registered cattle, and the reason we have registered cattle is the registered cattle give you 2 ways, 2 markets to sell your cattle. One is seed stock producer to people who want to raise and cultivate the herd, the Red Angus herd, and others, if you don't want to go that way, you can take them to the sale barn. If you sell them registered, usually you're going to make $200 to $300 more per head. And the cattle industry, as hard as this market is, it's economically more feasible to do the registered than it is anything else, especially since Red Angus are so popular now. Most of the industry is going either to Black Angus or to Red Angus composites, and consequently we're in a very good position where we are now today.
You know, I heard all the hype around the ranch, so I had to ask, who's Shane? I was also beginning to wonder, where's all the horses?
We used to have several horses. I didn't ride horses to work cattle, but now it's all four-wheelers. we got a couple of those hay burners, I like to call them, left out here, but nobody even rides them. It's easier to catch that four-wheeler.
As I look around the ranch, it is easy to see the legacy of true ranchmen being carried on. Here's Christy with a few words on her grandfather, Gene Davenport.
Yeah, well, I guess the only tragedy would be my father passing away. My father and I loved to do things together and work the ranch together and the cattle together, and I miss him. I miss him. I miss his wisdom and his knowledge. And he was a good father. He taught good morals. You know, he taught a man's word is his word, and he says yes, and his yes is yes, and whatever you say you're going to do, you do it.
Seeing how cows need doctors too, we asked Ty how often his vet skills came in handy.
The cattle that we had to do surgery on them just a couple of days ago that had large hemangiosarcoma, which is a type of tumor. Nearly all the tumors that people get, animals get. And we have a lot of cancer, a lot of problems, usually in older animals. Younger animals, that's real rare, and that was a young bull that had that problem that we did that surgery on the other day.
I asked Cheryl how she handled cow surgery.
Well, I have had to help, and it gets pretty messy and everything, but you know, we manage. Since he's doing all the hard stuff, I'm just kind of usually like holding some legs down or something.
Surprisingly, surgery was not Cheryl's least favorite thing about the ranch.
Oh, probably weaning the calves, because there's more work in that. You've got to tattoo and brand and all that kind of stuff. Take down weights.
After viewing this whole process, two things became obvious to me. Number one, the mamas do not like being separated from their calves. And number two, with calves as frisky as these, Ty will surely be in business for years to come.
Children-wise, I've got 2 girls that have become nurses. One would like to go into the missionary field. I've got another son one son that's in the computer business, and then I've got some great grandsons that just bring me lots of enjoyment. They come out on the weekends and stay with me.
So the question still remains, who will take over the ranch when Ty retires?
I have one grandson that stays here. We pick him up from school every day, and he's sort of my running buddy now. So he goes everywhere with me, and I'm teaching him what the Lord's taught me over the years about raising cattle. He'll probably take over.
This is Ty's running buddy, Kyle. I guess you could say Kyle just prefers to hang out with his feathery friends. This is what Kyle had to say about cows. Still, Ty doesn't seem worried. He knows in time the rancher bloodlines will kick in and surely bring one of them back.
It's either in your blood or it's not. And most of the boys seem to enjoy it out here. Old Kyle, he really likes it. Brandon and Christopher have shown cattle. Bethany, my granddaughter, likes them. Preston, I don't know about. He's another one of my grandsons. He wants to come over and stay this summer and help out here on the ranch. Boys, as they get older, this is fun.
We'll be right back, folks, with a closer look at Ty's future Red Angus. Thanks for watching The American Rancher on RFD TV. If you'd like your farming or ranching operation featured on the American Rancher television series, or for more information on sponsorship opportunities, please call Superior Productions at 1-800-431-4452. You can also email your requests to theamericanrancher@superiorlivestock.com. Check your program guide for future shows highlighting the greatest ranches on The American Rancher. As promised before the break, here's more on those cute little babies.
Calves do real well, and we usually are going to have about an 80% plus calf crop every year. Because we run a registered Red Angus herd, and all registered cattle, what they do is when they're born, you catch them and you tag them and weigh them, see what they weigh, and record that. And then when you wean them, you do it again. And the reason why is we want to know how much weight they're putting on per day from the time they're born to the time they're weaned. It helps us as far as deciding which cows to keep and which calves to sell. Those that are high weight gainers, those are the ones that you're going to want to keep. They're easy keepers, so to speak. Those that are in their prime, and their prime is 3 to 10 years. If they don't have a calf every year, they're out of here. And because we can't afford to raise freeloaders. They better produce if they're going to stay on this ranch. Calves do real well, and this time of the year it's always so much fun to be out because you get to watch those little calves running and bucking and kicking and saying, "Mama, look at me." Look at this, Mama. As they run in front of their mamas.
So how does Ty handle feeding all these growing calves?
Well, the cheapest way to feed them obviously is grass, and when we have the rain, then we get the grass, and then that's great. During the winter time, well, we have to feed them hay, and that's the major expense in this part of the country is your hay, your cost of your hay production and feeding it, and your labor and your equipment. We have gone to mainly feeding alfalfa. We also feed ryegrass and some hay grazer and coastal. Our main hay, because of the high protein content, is alfalfa. And we'll feed others as what we call fillers, and we get our protein from the alfalfa. The ranch is about 1,600 acres, and we divided it into about 30-acre sections, and each one I would dig a tank in those. Well, on some of the smaller tanks, we've had them dry up, and so when they do, well, we have 4 lakes that are about 15 acres each, and those big lakes, well, they've always had water. So in this particular part of the country, there is no shallow water, so if we ever ran out of water, we'd have to start using city water to water with it. It'd be expensive. We've never had to do that. Cattle industry has really evolved this last 40 years, and the scientific community is analyzing and figuring out which genes are the genes for marbling and for tenderness is going to change and revolutionize the whole industry. We're starting to test now the cattle for these tenderness genes, and we're just knocking on the door of it as far as to where it's going to take us. Eventually, we'll have a product similar to chicken, where it's just everyone's almost identical.
Christy didn't really have much to say on the industry, but she did have this.
As much as I have. And we hope to see you again next week here on the American Rancher on RFD TV, where we'll be taking you to yet another awesome ranch.